War doesn't only happen on the front lines. It happens in the homes of mothers waiting by the phone, in the hearts of fathers staring at an empty chair, and in the quiet prayers whispered before sleep. Tonight, I want to share with you the story of one young soldier, only 19 years old, who made one final call home. It was just a few minutes long, but those words carried a lifetime of love. This is the story of Private First Class Daniel Torres, a son, a brother, a dreamer, and the call that became his family's most cherished memory. Daniel Torres was born in a small town in Texas. He grew up like any ordinary boy, playing baseball, fishing by the river with his dad, teasing his little sister. When 9/11 shook America, Daniel was just 15 years old. He told his mother that day, "One day, I'll wear the uniform. I want to protect our home." By 2004, at just 19, Daniel found himself in Iraq. It was hot, dusty, and dangerous, the kind of place no teenager imagines when they dream of serving their country. But Daniel carried something more precious than his rifle. In his pocket was a small prepaid phone card. That little piece of plastic was his only bridge back to home. Life on base was harsh. Long patrols, sleepless nights, and the constant sound of gunfire in the distance. But once in a while, the soldiers were given the chance to line up outside a small phone booth, a tent with wires and satellite signals connecting them back to America. On one humid night, Daniel stood in that line. The desert winds howled. The explosions in the distance never stopped. But when his turn came, Daniel stepped inside, picked up the phone, and dialed his home in Texas. On the other side of the world, in a quiet kitchen, his mother answered. She would later say she had never heard his voice sound so calm, so gentle, so full of love. The call lasted only 6 minutes, but those 6 minutes became eternal. He asked about his little sister. Is she still drawing on the walls? He laughed when his mother said yes. He asked about his dog. Does he still chase the mailman? She told him nothing had changed. For a moment, it was as if he was back at the family table, teasing, laughing, just being Daniel. But then his tone grew softer. He said, "Mom, don't worry about me. I'm doing good here. We're strong. We're ready." And as the minutes ticked away, he said the words that would echo forever in her memory. "Mom, I'll be home soon. Save me a seat at the table." The line clicked. The call was over. And she sat there in silence, holding the phone, praying those words would be true. 3 days later, a Sunday afternoon, the Torres family was preparing lunch. The knock at the door came quietly, but its echo was louder than any sound in war. 2 officers stood outside, hats in hand. His mother said she didn't need to hear the words. She already knew. Her son wasn't coming home. Private First Class Daniel Torres had been killed in action during a mission just outside Fallujah. The table that had been set for him remained empty. The chair he asked his mother to save stayed waiting. The folded American flag was placed in her arms, but it was not the seat at the table she had prayed for. At his funeral, the family placed something small on his coffin, the old prepaid phone card. It was, they said, the last bridge to his voice. Even today, years later, his mother keeps that card in a drawer by her bedside. And sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet, she says she can still hear the phone ringing. She still hears his voice saying, "Save me a seat at the table, Mom." It was the final goodbye, but also a promise. A promise that his love, his laughter, and his sacrifice would never be forgotten. This is the story of Daniel Torres, a son, a soldier, and a voice that still echoes through time. Stories like his remind us that heroes don't just live in history books. They live in kitchens, in phone calls, in memories that never fade. These are the echoes of valor. If this story touched your heart, subscribe and help us keep their memories alive.